Stellenbosch have got players that are capable of playing well in a pitch like this, but you need to be very comfortable on the ball and be able to play in small spaces.
Yeah, with both coaches emphasizing speed as well. I think the weather's perfect for a game like that as well. Speaking of the coaches, let's hear from the home coach. Here is Steve Barker. Coach Steve, Stellenbosch in the MTN 8 for the very first time in their history. What does it feel like for the people here and involved with this club to be in this competition?
Yeah, it's fantastic, amazing. And to be having it at home against a team like Kaizerchiefs, I think the script couldn't have been written better. I think even in our NFD days, I would tell the team that we want to get promoted. And when we were promoted, I said we got to finish top 8. MTN 8 is a real nice trophy to be involved with. So, yeah, we've reached that. Hopefully we can continue further into the competition.
Let me pick up on that script. If you had to write a script for the performance of your team today, how would that go?
Yeah, I think it's been progressive. Obviously, we had a setback midweek against Sundowns. We weren't at our best. But I do think we had a lot of changes at the beginning of the season. You know, lost a lot of experienced players and brought in a lot of players. And I think we're slowly starting to see and reap the rewards of our recruitment. I think we're getting better every week. Today's another occasion for us to continue building a certain way we want to play. You know, want to play with a lot of energy, intensity, be brave, be courageous with the ball in possession and out of possession to, you know, hunt the ball and win the ball back quickly. So hopefully we can demonstrate that today.
If you want to win today, that would mean you would curtail Kaizerchiefs in certain areas. What areas would those be? Where are they most dangerous?
Yeah, look, I think they've got good individual brilliance all around the field. I see Ashley Dupree starting for them, so we obviously know his pace and getting in behind, so we have to be aware of that. Keegan Dolly is really clever in the pockets, especially if you allow him space and time to play forward. You know, he's got a really good pass. Billiat is a seasoned professional, really good. Sekhota's got a lot of energy. You know, their fullback, Shlanti back in the team. Solomons will be looking to get forward. So they've got a lot of threats. But yeah, I think we have to contain that. But at the same time, I think important for us is to see how they handle us when we have the ball. And that's going to be the key. I think the team that uses the ball in possession the best will be the winners.
Good luck today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Dooley, the only changes from the side that lost out in Pretoria in midweek. Key point for me, Pumuto, is the fact that they've reverted back to a back four after going 3 at the back in the capital.
Now, the key would be Andres, the young centre-back. He has a big job to do today. But their strength is Pasadena on the left. On the right-hand side, you also have Ufan Roya. Mandieta in your picture is the key. Creative tank, thinking tank, the man with a goal in him, the man that needs to supply and dictate the tempo of the game for Stellenbosch. He is deadly, and Kaizerchiefs needs to look after him. And Kaizerchiefs are not playing with, they're playing without a number 6. No defensive midfielder. Who's going to look after Mandieta? That's the big question.
Mandieta that has 2 goals already this season, Pumutso, as you mentioned, and very similar to Keegan Dolly. He operates nicely in the pockets of space, and because you've just highlighted that there's no number 6, so there'll be 2 8s there. He will be able to pick up those spaces, and how Kaizerchiefs are going to contain them, we'll have to wait and see.
And not forgetting the aerial threat he poses as well, Stanton.
Yeah, that's correct. And he's a very diminutive player, short, quick, but his awareness around the box. And if he does come off the left, he has the ability to tuck in on the sides as well. And now we're starting to see him getting on the goal sheet as well. So that's very important for a winger, getting into the areas that will hurt them, and you eventually get paid back with some goals.
Okay, we've heard from Stellenbosch now. What's the plan today for amakhosi? For that, let's hear from their coach. Here's Arthur Zwane. Coach Arthur, you've made some big calls in selection today. Could you talk me through the starting 11, please?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Look, you know, cup games are difficult games, and obviously people have been watching our games. And just to change a little bit, you know, change because, you know, we have that competition within our squad. All the players, you know, are pulling their weight, are doing very well at training. And we had to bring in Itu, you know, knowing that he can add value in terms of experience. He looks sharp as well. And we had to prepare him because, you know, for some time. He hasn't been playing regularly. So we needed to make sure that when we give him the opportunity, he's ready to play. And yeah, I think it looked okay. We're happy to see him in this shape. And we had to bring back Hlanti. You know, as you know, he's coming from a very long layoff. Hopefully, he'll come in and add value as well because he hasn't been playing for quite some time. He's coming in for RELIVE. You know, RELIVE, who's going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, when you look at our team, we've got a balance because that's what we've been looking for. When we look at how we're going to shape up, we have the 3 up front that can easily become 2 10s, and we also have, you know, players who can play as 10s and 8s, you know, and with 1 6. So the back 4, they will apply the basics of defending because that's what we expect from them. So we'll go with 4-3-3, you know, which is what suits us best.
What is key for your players today? What would you like to see out there in this cup game?
I beg your pardon?
What would you like to see? What's key today against Stellenbosch?
Look, we're playing against a team that, for me, they've got nothing to lose. You know, when you look at their lineup, it's more or less the same team that played against Sundowns. There's only 3 changes in it. It's the same team that played against Cape Town City. You know, you can see they've got a lot of youngsters who are full of running and have so much confidence, and they're playing at home, you know. So they'll definitely, you know, come at us. So we have to be ready for that and also take the game to them, you know, when they open up those spaces for us to exploit.
Good luck today.
Thank you so much.
First starts of the season then for Kaizer Chiefs in Itumeleng Khune and Sviso Hlanti. Also in the starting 11 from the side that lost at Cape Town City is Maklo and Dupree. We've talked about those 2 leaders at the back. What about Dupree against his former team, Stiga?
Well, isn't that a fairy tale story? Dupree coming back home, and what an opportunity and what a stage for him to display what he can do. We've already stamped his mark very early on in his Kaizer Chiefs career. When he is not in the starting lineup, they look like they could be a bit weaker. But the man that stands out also coming home is Quinika. Settled in very, very quickly, and he needs to now step up and become that leader, which is already shown with his performances.
The former captain of Stellenbosch, he knows a lot about this team. He could have given Arthur Zwane a lot of heads up. He's important in that centre-back pairing. But moving into that midfield, where Kaizer Chiefs are playing with Sitebe and Matlo, it means they are not playing with a 6. They are playing with double 8s in that midfield. So one of them will have to take a more defensive role, and I think that role will go to Sitebe today. Matlo will then play as an 8. Keegan Dolly also important in that 10 role. But the speed of Kaizer Chiefs going forward, the interchange of position, the tactical flexibility up top, that's the danger that Stellenbosch needs to face.
Yeah, and they reverted as well, have Kaizer Chiefs, from that 3 at the back experiment to a back 4. What does that mean for the game we're going to see today? It's prediction time.
You know what? I'm going to do what the Bowl done yesterday. I'm going to sit on the fence, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think we will see goals, so let's give it a 1-1.
But we got to have a winner, mate. Come on.
Penalties, we're going to have to lean on the side of the black and yellow.
Oh, you're the one who's going to be driving home in the dark then for us, Stiga. What is your prediction today? What kind of game are we going to see?
I want to say to the crew, we are going home early today. Stellenbosch beat Kaizer Chiefs home and away last season. Dupree scoring for Stellenbosch against Chiefs. I'm looking at this and saying, looking at both lineups, Kaizer Chiefs are going through to the semi-finals. 2-1 win for Kaizer Chiefs.
Well, what I do like about the 2 of you is you think the goals are going to be flowing just like the wine in this part of the world, and I love it. I absolutely love it. They would love it as well. What you're seeing is more yellow shirts. As our director always says, Kaizer Chiefs are home wherever they play in the country. Today, making their MTN8 bow is Stellenbosch, but they will be outnumbered in terms of the fans as well. Speaking of fans, loving what you're saying on social media using the hashtag SSDisky, like Makwetsa Seshiba says, good seeing Itukune back. Really hope he can bless us with his leadership at the back. If you're only just joining us, that's one of the big big breaking stories of the day. Goalkeeper changes for both of these two sides. It's a first ever meeting between Stellenbosch and Kaizer Chiefs in the MTN8. We are in quarterfinal number 3. Who will join Usutu and the Buccaneers in the last 4? Well, we could go to extra time, which is what Stanton Fredericks thinks, but Pumuzo thinks they're going to wrap it up in the 90 minutes. That's what it's all about here. Between these two analysts, that's the battle. Well, Stanton's going to be going up and providing the experts analysis alongside Mark Gleeson in English commentary. We have Inisi Zulu Zama Masondo is with us again in the Western Cape. So too is Tepo Maimani to provide commentary in Setswana. We have those options for you in Setswana. We have those options for you on your remotes. They are ready. The players are ready. The stage is set. This is the MTN8. It's winner take all. It's Wafa Wafa time.
Unmissable opportunities that just make sense.
Hey, Baba, what's up?
Hey, Wena, do you need a lift? What's up?
Those simple choices that just make life lekker.
Beer, I buy.
Get a risk-free first bet at Sporting Bet. If you lose, you get to have another go. If you win, you win. Sporting Bet. It's a no-brainer.
New York City. So much more than a city. A way of life. The home of Cruise Vodka, where raw ingredients get distilled down to reach the top of the world. 5 times to be exact. That city that never sleeps. That vintage black. Pure New York in a bottle. Cruise. Vintage black.
Here's your chance to be on the winning side. Show off your local football knowledge by entering the daily DSTV Premiership quiz. And you could score 5,000 Rand in cash every week. Plus, get an extra 5,000 Rand in free play vouchers if you're a World Sports betting account holder. Just head to supersport.com to get in on all the heated homegrown action. Brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best.
It's time to go from working out how to stay warm to working out to stay hot. From jumping on your couch to jumping on a trampoline. It's time to do the right springs at the all-new game. Get the Univa 210-litre chest freezer for 2,999. Telefunk and 50-inch FHD LED TV for 3,999. Game's got you, and you got game.
The all-new Toyota Agya. Sleek styling, modern convenience, LED projector headlamps, alloy wheels, push-start ignition, Wi-Fi. Hang on, all of that's in there?
Yeah, it's even got a service plan.
Nice. The Toyota Agya. It's a big deal for a small car.
We gonna get it started.
The fans are back. And they are louder than ever. As 4 nations put it all on the line to be crowned kings of the South. This is rugby at its best. This is Rugby Unmatched. Watch the Rugby Championship from 6 August to 20 best. This is Rugby Unmatched. Watch the Rugby Championship from 6 August to 24 September. Live on Supersport. Broadcast proudly brought to you by Spur.
Cape Town City, Royal AM, Stellenbosch, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Amazon, Supersport United. The MTN8, fast, dynamic, exhilarating. Wafa Wafa. The winner takes all. The MTN8.
First time in the MTN8 for Stellenbosch FC, and they're facing the competition's most successful club in Kaizer Chiefs. This is the MTN8 quarterfinals. Place in the semi-final along Usutu and Orlando Pirates is up for grabs today. The fans, some of them in the stadium, and by now you're wondering why are the teams not walking out. We've already made our predictions. We've already said the stage is set. We've already said goodbye from the team here pitch side. Well, guess what? We're back, because there is a little delay on the match. Now, I've got Match Commissioner Mr. Nemal Budu alongside me, and he's going to give us an update. Mr. Budu, what is going on? We're not kicked off. We're expecting to be kicking off now. Is there a delay?
We've been advised by the VOC commander that there is a large crowd of people outside the stadium. And he felt, for safety reasons, that we need to delay the match by another 15 minutes. And I agree with him, because we don't want influx of people at the gates. There's pressure on the gates. So 15 minutes delay will be sufficient. So we have planned to kick off at 15:15. That's our final.
So I believe this was a sold-out stadium today. Is there numbers involved? Do you have an idea of who's already in and what percentage we're waiting for? Even if you don't, that's okay. Maybe just numbers for how many are expected today.
No, at the moment we don't have the exact number that's outside the stadium. But this stadium is a 17,000-seater. Safety capacity is 15,000. And as at last night, the tickets were sold out. So we need to be cautious of who we allow in and how we're going to handle the situation.
Thank you so much. Just to repeat for those who are joining us, that the match will kick off at 15:15. Is that set, or will you give it another assessment? And if you do, what time will that assessment be?
No, that is set. 15:15 kickoff.
Have it, the hottest ticket in the Winelands today, and it is all sold out. But the problem is there is still a large crowd of people outside. So Mr. Budu and his advisors have made a decision that for safety, the match will kick off at 15:15. That's why we're back. These two gentlemen alongside me, still Stanton Frederick, still Pumuza Manenjek. Guys, I know you've done all your predictions already, but let's talk about how this game's going to go. In a match of this nature, you need heroes. And the heroes and the headlines are always for the people like Pumuzo, the goal scorers, Stiga.
Where the money's at, isn't it? The strikers is a clever man. But just picking up from what Mr. Budu said, 17,000 capacity. Big stage. The stage is set. So big games are for big players. Now, we've seen a number of changes. We talk about big players. Looking at the visiting team, Kaizer Chiefs, Itumeleng Kune. You mentioned it, Pumuzo. More than 90 caps for Bafana Bafana. This game needs cool heads, especially with the number of new players in this Kaizer Chiefs lineup. It can become intimidating. You start to do things that you don't know because you're at a big team. The crowd roars when you get the ball, and you start to over-elaborate. So it's important for the experienced players to come in here and say, guys, let's relax, play the game and not the occasion.
What's really remarkable for me is the fact that when we arrived, we always do 3 hours before kickoff. There were already people here at the Stanton Fan Club, as I mentioned, taking photos outside, making their way into the stadium. I was quite impressed by that. But as it turns out, majority of people still outside. Safety first.
Safety first. A good call by the match commissioners and the referees to delay the game by 15 minutes. It also gives us an opportunity to then go deeper into the two teams. You're looking at a Stellenbosch team that is playing with 3 up front. But the 3 up front, there's no out-and-out number 9. They are playing with a false line. Judas Musiamedi is with the Chen team for Bafana Bafana. It means that Van Veek will have to be the false line. Quinika knows him a little bit well. And it will be key for Mandieta. It will be key for Adams as to who's going to play that false line. When it drops off, who's going into that space of number 9? That is the biggest question that Kaizer Chiefs have to answer. How do they pick up against a false line?
Also very difficult, as you mentioned, to really defend against this false nine, which is why it's become so popular in modern football, because it's interchangeable, those positions, and you don't really know who to pick up when and how.
Yeah, and this is where Quinika becomes key, because Jaden Adams will be that false nine, and when he drops deep, do not make that mistake to follow him. Who's going to be still, who's going to follow him and pass him on to the midfielder to possibly take over the defending there. But as you mentioned, it's a front three for Stellenbosch that's very mobile. When Jordan comes short, Mendieta will get in behind. That is not his strength, running off the back. His strength is pockets of spaces here. But make no mistake that this is a Stellenbosch, and there's a brilliant story out of this. We look at the junior sides. They've won the Metropolitan Cup. They've come runners-up in the Engine Cup. They've won the Next Generation Cup in England. They're beating the likes of Leicester as well as Notts Forest. And you look at this squad of 18 players, there is at least 9 players from the juniors. That's the story here.
Can they play in front of a capacity crowd? Are they used to playing without hearing their coach? Are they used to playing without hearing their teammates? That is the big question that Stellenbosch players have to show us today. Body language will be key. Movement will be the key communication on the field because the players are not going to be able to hear each other.
Yeah, especially in defense as well, that communication which we did not see against Mamelodi Sundowns in midweek. It was uncharacteristically so from Stellenbosch because this is a side that is well organized.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the park there. A player that was key last season, not part of it, but I see he's on the bench, Jabbar, alongside him, Tetwa. I think that was the strength of Stellenbosch that's seen them make it to the top 8 because that allowed the likes of when Skellum was here, when Mendieta was up front. You know, it gives them the freedom to go ahead and attack. And because it is a smaller pitch at home, this is where they took advantage of it. So they'll be, excuse the pun, they'll feel more at home on this field and understand the diameters because we don't take it for granted. That is why it's called home advantage. You are familiar with your surroundings, and that's exactly what Stellenbosch have here this afternoon.
What about for Kaizer Chiefs? If we talk about the players they've all come here to see, we can see the yellow jerseys are dominant here today. Who's going to be the hero for Kaizer Chiefs? Who has to step up again up front?
One thing that the viewers will see today is a Keegan Dolly that is playing more central. He's going to be more central. They'll have to pre in the wide areas. They will also have Sekota in the wide areas. The mobility of Kama Billiard would be key today. Whenever Kama Billiard drops down, Dupree will take that central position. So the speed, the interchange of positions for Kaizer Chiefs up top, Dupree playing in a ground that is familiar with, but also opponents that know him very well. A technical team that developed Dupree. How will he fare today? Will he be able to shine? That's the big question.
Yeah, it's a question we are waiting until 15:15 to find out. Kama Billiard in your picture now. I was watching him very closely on Tuesday night against Cape Town City and quite surprised that he's not really the Billiard that I've come to know on the field of play.
You know, it's a Billiard that's playing a different role as you look at his the experience as a player now. It's no longer the player that's the star. It's the player that becomes the experienced player that leads up front, you know. He needs to show it in his movement. He needs to show the hunger, and that energy will filter off on the rest of the players. I think we're looking at a different narrative here with Kaizer Chiefs as well.
Okay, we're just we're just a little bit distracted because some of the fans have moved from the concrete section over to the main stands. That's what we're seeing in your picture now. Still trying to get some organization in here. The match commissioner, who we did speak to a little bit earlier on, was telling us that that 15:15 kickoff is set. It's not changing. There is a big police presence over there, and so we're just hoping that everybody gets in safely and takes up their seats. They are excited very clearly for this encounter that we're about to see. We're still building up because there is a delay on this match. 15:15 is the new kickoff for this MTN 8 quarterfinal number 3 between Stellenbosch and Kaizer Chiefs. Already talked about the way in which Kaizer Chiefs are going to build up that defense of Chiefs. Surprisingly went with 3 centre-backs in midweek against Cape Town City. Touched on it a little bit. Why were they caught so flat-footed? Why did City have so much space? And how can Stellenbosch perhaps learn from that? Or is it not relevant because Chiefs are 4 at the back today?
I don't think it was the correct decision to play 3 at the back. Kaizer Chiefs, traditionally, they play with 4 at the back. Now, the problem midweek was the distance between Rifosla, who was the wing back, and also Quinica. The problem was Solomon's on the right with also Ungezana. The distances were too big. Kaizer Chiefs are used to playing with 4 at the back. Today you will see that they'll have more space to even build from the back, with Ngobo and Quinica being very comfortable on the ball. You'll see Solomon's, he's very good when he starts his runs from right, from full back going up. The same with Santi. So the balance today you'll see. Kaizer Chiefs has got a keeper that is comfortable on his feet. That is Itumeleng Kune. You'll see them building from the back with a lot of confidence.
And the difference is when this, in terms of 4-man defense and the 3-man defense, is that when it's 3 Jules, it's you're not sure should you pass off the player or should you go with him, and that causes a lot of confusion, especially in a stadium like this. And you can't hear your teammate. So that becomes so important. When it's a 4, it's easier. You have your man, I have your man. If there's a runner, you follow him. There's no interchanging between the defenders, which makes it organizationally, defensively, a little bit more simple.
Yeah, I want to put it into perspective for people. I'm wearing a headset. My volume on this little pack here that allows me to hear you guys is turned all the way up, and I'm still having to lip read. So when you say that is a factor, you're not being over the top. It's absolutely true. So in a game like this then, when you can't communicate, when the school bell is telling us it's time now to go, how do you manage it?
I'll have to draw from my experience of playing in the Soweto derby. Being able to read the movements of my teammate. Hand signals also becomes very important. Come closer, open the field, tight. The hand signals become very important. Where you're asking for the ball, you need to indicate with your movement as to where you want to receive the ball. And that will be very key because it's very loud. The supporters are singing, the vuvuzelas are out there. So player movements will be key and indicated by the body.
I tell you what, this is what you want as a player. You don't want to hear your coach shouting, especially when you're a dribbler, because the instruction is pass, pass, pass. So this gives you an opportunity to express yourself. But on a more serious note, exactly what Pramuta says, you need to play on the instincts. You need to draw from coach's instructions now. And this is where the senior players become so instrumental, because it's literally signs to say slow down. It's literally signs to say push. And that is what you need in this atmosphere.
And there will be players like Stiga, if the crowd is like this when he was still playing, when he does not want to pass the ball, he says to the coach, I couldn't hear.
Gotta love it, gotta love it.
Okay, here's another question about the fans and the volume, because it's such a compact stadium, as we've already mentioned, not just pitch side, but everyone is really close by. In terms of the fans, that noise you're saying is pressure for Stellies. I want to turn it around and say perhaps it's more pressure for Kaizer Chiefs, because if you're not doing well, this crowd, which is very partial towards Kaizer Chiefs, very impartial, they're going to be on their backs.
And billiard, they want to come out of that changing room. Keegan Dolly wants to play in front of a full capacity crowd. He can't wait to go. He's raring to go. Itumelen Kune can't wait to come out for that cross, catch that cross, and give that distribution. The big players, BMT, big match temperament is what is needed in today's fixture.
All right, I am literally taking stock here, because behind me, the crowd that is coming in, there is a lot of movement of people, and I'm looking at the time. I don't know that we're going to have a further delay. What we're going to do is go to a short break, and when we come back, we'll have that update for you. Stay with us.
The late night out. As for our date night, we're watching a beautiful game, good DS, because Thursday nights are for Europa League. From this screen to
to that screen, watch Europe's best football clubs battle for supremacy. Ubano Zofufa to the next level in the 52nd anniversary of the UEFA Europa League. Live on Thursday nights, only on SuperSport on DSTV Compact. Kumnande Kaya.
Welcome back to the beginning.
Look at that! That is absolutely astonishing.
Welcome to August, only on SuperSport on DSTV.
We've waited a long time for this moment, and we're ready to go.
Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! He's got his goal. It had to be Ronaldo. That is sensational.
Messi.
Oh, Messi! Mbappe! Oh, my word! El Rey Pele! Oh, how about that? Glorious! Oh, can you believe it? I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.
Catch every single moment of all 64 matches of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Live on SuperSport. Here for every fan. Only on DSTV and Showmax.
Oh my goodness me! With the most sensational strike you will ever see!
It's modern art. Serie A, live and in HD. Only on SuperSport on DSTV.
DANIE CRAVEN Stadium is playing host today to the MTN8 quarterfinal clash between Stellenbosch and Kaizer Chiefs, a side that have won this competition 15 times versus a side that are playing for the very first time in the MTN8 competition. That's the story of Stellenbosch versus Kaizer Chiefs. That's the story of Steve Barker. A dream realized today to see a sold-out DANIE CRAVEN Stadium. And what's happening right now, the game should have been kicked off already, but we are having a delay to the kickoff. Initially, it was expected to be able to kick off at 15:15. We don't have an exact new time for kickoff. We're hearing 15:30, but that is also subject to be changed. It's all about fan safety. And at the moment, the fans have still been moving around, have still been moving in the stands. Some of them still outside, some of them still trying to get in. And so because of safety, in the 17,000-seater stadium where 15,000 tickets have been sold, we are still waiting to kick off. Your pitch side here with me, Julia Stewart, still alongside Stanton Fredericks and Pumuzo Manenje. The only person I'm worried about is how is Stanton Fredericks going to get through that crowd to get into commentary, hey?
Talking about the crowd, Jules, I just think that since the kickoff of the new season, this has been the story of the DSTV Premiership. We've seen fans come to the stadiums and we just want to applaud it. We might just throw in there, let's come a little bit earlier, but certainly this is the way to start the season and just so excited.
This is what you play football for, what we watch football for. It's all about the crowd. We know from the last 2 years, playing behind closed doors, the fans are the lifeblood of the game. They bring excitement to it. They are the heart and soul of it. But they, at the moment, have caused a bit of a delay. What are the players going through right now?
The quality this season of the DSTV Premiership has been second to none. What is going on in the change room now? The players have got they've got the balls in the change room. They are doing a lot of dynamic stretching, dynamic movements in the change room, and they are keeping warm because you can't afford to be sitting down at this moment as players. And I know for a fact that that is what's happening in the Kaizer Chiefs changing room. That is what is happening in the Stellenbosch changing room. But the atmosphere is amazing. South Africans, as we get in the stadium early, man. As we get in the stadium early, man.
And I tell you what. It's probably the most frustrating thing, especially when you've been out here, you've done the warm-up, you can see the crowds rolling in, and we can see even Bobby Matong arriving a bit late. That's a fine for him, but that's a story for another day. But all you want to do is get onto that field, and start this game. But unfortunately, you're going to have to be patient, as you mentioned, Pamutso. Dynamic stretching for both sides, just to stay concentrated, because it's all about how you start. You could slip into a stage where you're now cold and you start the game cold, and that's the last thing you want to do, is start and concede a goal in the early minutes of the game.
I'm also sure the referees are going to give players 3 to 5 minutes just to pass the ball around again, just get the movement of the blood going in the bodies of the players. I'm sure that they are not just going to walk out and go kick off. They will be given 3 to 5 minutes to then generate that movement in their bodies again.
This was quite a while ago now, those warm-ups. I think they went in about 10 minutes before time. It's already half an hour ago by now. By the time they come out, it's going to be so much later. As you mentioned, they might be given another chance to warm up by the referees when we do eventually get onto the kickoff. One thing we mentioned and didn't really have a lot of time to talk about was the size of this pitch. And you said home ground advantage. Now, to someone at home, someone like me, we understand the pitch is compact. But what does that mean for how this game is going to be played? What does that mean for spaces for the players out there?
Let's just first delve into the attacking element of the game. You try to create spaces and exploit this space. So when you're moving the ball from side to side, if it's a narrow pitch, it then needs to be so much quicker. Because it's a compact field, and players like Keegan Dolly on the side of Kaizer Chiefs, players like Mendieta and Stellenbosch side, they play in the pockets of space. So it becomes easier for defensively teams to be compact and not give you that space. So it becomes a bit of the ball will be rotated at the back and the midfield becomes very compact, so it's difficult to find opportunities. So having said that, sometimes the direct ball becomes so much more effective.
In midfield, Kaizer Chiefs are not playing with an out-and-out number 6. No defensive midfielder. They've gone with Sitebe, they've gone with Matou. All those players are very comfortable on the ball. Technically very gifted. Players that can play in tight spaces. And that will be key for Kaizer Chiefs in that midfield. Also, the freedom that is given to Sekgotha, the freedom that will be given to Dupree, it becomes very key for Kaizer Chiefs. The interchange of positions. Itumeleng Khune also becomes very important because his distribution is going to be key into those runs that are being made by Dupree, runs that are being made by Sekgotha.
So exactly as Stiga said, can we see a Khune to Billiard to Khune to Dupree goal happening today? Because that is what you're saying, a direct approach might work wonders.
Highly possible, because once again we come back to the size of the pitch. It's easier for you to press high because the distances are not too far. So let's say Stellenbosch presses Kaizer Chiefs high, so they're unable to play out from the back. The next point of attack would be the distribution of Khune onto the 10s, which could be Billiard or it could be Keegan Dolly.
It also sets up the game plan perfectly for both coaches, because I know they like to counter press. To counter press means as soon as you lose the ball, you want to win it back as quick as possible. And they've got the players to do that. They've got the players to trigger that press. Both teams, talking about Stellenbosch and also talking about Kaizer Chiefs. But on the flip side, the team that is able to get out of that counter press, that's how they're going to get the goals in today's game.
One thing that stood out for me with the coaches' interviews was both of them talked about quick players and they both talked about speed. That is something I think we're going to be seeing. I feel like that is the approach today, especially Coach Arthur commenting on the quick players of Stellenbosch and Coach Steve commenting on the quick players of Chiefs. So one of them who used to be his player last season, you know what I mean. Is that going to be a big factor today, the speed?
It's a massive one, and when we speak about the speedy players, we look at the newcomer, Solomon's on the right-hand side. I think he's a player that operates in space in front of him. So one of the things is, because it's a smaller pitch, there will be a bit more compact and teams will be encouraged to play with a high line. And that is what the speedy players thrive off. That is what Dupree would want. That is what Solomon's would want. And that is what they possibly could take advantage of.
When you look at what Stiga is speaking about, you can't play a high line without pressure on the ball carrier. Now, the man that is about to play that long ball needs to be pressured or pressed Because if you give him the space and time, you'll be able to pick out the pass that he wants to, especially when you've got dangerous players like Van Veek, like Adams, like Mandieta that can use the space in behind the defense. The same with Kaizer Chiefs, Sikhota, Dupree, and also Keegan Dolly. But now this is where the last line of defense becomes important. Sweeper keeper. That's where Tumelen Kunen needs to be important. Lee Langeveld, sweeper keeper. You need to play out of your comfort zone a little bit on the penalty area to be able to cut that ball that is played in behind your defense.
Let's talk about the opening couple of minutes, the opening quarter of an hour, for example, of this exchange. Yesterday, we saw a very pacey start, which then kind of petered out. What will we see today from the home side, for example, Stellenbosch, or the one who has the most home support, Kaizer Chiefs?
I think we're going to see exactly the same thing because, remember, this is a cup match. There has to be a winner. If you're going to decide to sit and play on the counter-attack, eventually you're going to want it. I don't think any of the two teams here are saying, let's go to penalties, because penalties is the lottery, you know. So I do feel that it's going to be fireworks from the get-go.
Fireworks from the get-go. Chiefs will be trying to get an early goal to try and settle the nerves of their supporters, who has filled 80 to 90% of the stadium. Stellenbosch will be looking to cause an upset. How do they cause the upset? It's to disturb the rhythm of Kaizer Chiefs. It's to try and get that early goal. Try and frustrate Kaizer Chiefs from making 4 to 7 passes. That will frustrate Kaizer Chiefs. On the other end, the senior players will play a big role. Kwinika, Kune, Tanti, Sitebe, those players have won the captain's umbrella at some point in their career. Their leadership qualities will be key. Not forgetting Keegan Dolly, who was wearing it in the absence of Itumeleng Khune.
Right now, I'm hearing we may be ready to kick off at some points. We're not sure if we're going to have the players coming out to warm up once again. We're not sure that that is the case. In fact, all still be to be decided. We are waiting to give you clear confirmation. But what we do know is the stage is set. The fans have almost doubled in numbers out there in the stands. They want to see this MTN 8 quarterfinal. And so do we. It's Stellenbosch against Kaizer Chiefs. And after this, we hope we are live.
It's been a while since last football season. 2 months, 8 weekends, 288 hours, 17,218 minutes, approximately. But finally, the wait is over. Football season is back, live and local. Showmax Pro brings you the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, and the DStv Premiership anywhere on any screen. Stream the action from SuperSport live on Showmax Pro.
Monster Jam races back into South Africa. Full throttle family fun with freestyle and racing competitions. Plus, see freestyle motocross riders in action. The fun begins at the pit party. Meet the drivers, get autographs, and see the 6-ton trucks up close. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Revving into Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban this April and May. Brought to you by McDonald's in association with SuperSport. Book now at showtime.co.za.
Stellenbosch FC make their MTN8 debut against the club who have won this particular competition more than any other team. Welcome everyone, live from the DANIE CRAVEN Stadium, some 30 minutes behind schedule, but ready to go. Since the top 8 first started 50 years ago, Kaizerchiefs have won this trophy 15 times, and they've been to another 6 finals. No other side has as impressive a record, but it's been 7 seasons now since the club has won any silverware, and the pressure is mounting. What a great opportunity, however, for Chiefs to turn the tide. They have lost 3 of their 5 league games so far this season, which means they do not start as favourites today, even if they are still the Cup Kings of South African football. Stellenbosch with a modest start to the new campaign, 3 draws in 5 games, 1 win, and of course a comprehensive defeat on Wednesday to the champions Mamelodi Sundowns. That game played at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Last season though, Stellies did do the double over Kaizerchiefs in their 2 league fixtures. They won 1-0 at Soccer City in November and 1-0 again here at the DANIE CRAVEN Stadium in April. It means they've not lost in the last 5 outings against Kaizerchiefs, and if they keep that up, they will join AmaZulu and Orlando Pirates amongst the teams who are through to the semi-finals of this year's MTN8. Still to come later tonight, Mamelodi Sundowns, the holders, will be up against SuperSport United. That game kicks off at 6 p.m. tonight from the amakhosi Stadium. Stanton Fredericks alongside me is our expert analyst, a winner of this particular competition when it was still known as the Top 8 back in 2001. Part of Operation Fat Alles, and I wonder how things have changed rather markedly in terms of winning trophies for Kaizerchiefs since then. Stellenbosch FC's lineup for today's encounter. Sihle Ndule is restored to the midfield after being benched as a precaution on Wednesday. He, of course, is on 3 cautions. Solly Kunyeri drops to the bench. Lee Langeveld gets to play in goal in place of Sage Stevens. It'll be his first appearance of the new season. He lost his place in the starting lineup to Sage Stevens last season. Here's the tactical formation with Stanton.
We're just looking at the Stellenbosch lineup there. It will be a 4-3-3 with Basadina at the left back, as well as Van Roy on the right, and they'll be tested to the max. And looking up front there, Mendieta, the man of the moment for Stellies.
Kaizerchiefs welcome back Itumeleng Kune in goal for the first time since last year's MTN8 quarterfinal loss to Mamelodi Sundowns. Sifiso Hlanti plays for the first time since suffering an Achilles tendon injury in November. George Matlu comes into the midfield, and Chiefs are further strengthened up front by a return from an adductor injury of Ashley du Preez. He takes on his old teammates only 3 months after leaving Stellenbosch. Yusuf Mart is still suspended.
It's a Kaizerchiefs side with massive changes there, throwing in the experienced Itumeleng Kune as well as Hlanti up front. The diminutive du Preez, Dolly and Billiard will be testing that defense of Stellies this afternoon.
There's the refereeing team, Jelly Chavani, 26-year-old. He was in charge on Wednesday when Stellenbosch lost 3-0 in Pretoria against Mamelodi Sundowns. Only 21 years old when he was in charge of his first PSL game. Khara Mokoena and Kamusi Razwimisani from Thohoyandou are the 2 assistants. Steve Barker's 198th top flight game as a coach took amakhosi to the 2009 Nedbank Cup final. Arthur Zwane had 11 games as a caretaker coach. He's had 5 as a head coach since the start of the season. 7 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws since Zwane has sat on the bench. So, what an afternoon in store for both the home side and for a fairly young Chiefs outfit as well. Mohamed Khuda is the skipper today for the home side, and Itumeleng Kune, who plays today for the first time since August last year. It's in fact 1 year and 13 days since his last appearance, and that was in a 2-2 draw with Mamelodi Sundowns. Chiefs came back from 2 goals down in that MTN8 game, and Kune, involved in the penalty shootout, dropped after that and not seen in a Chiefs starting lineup in an official match since. So it looks as if Amakhosi in the change strip will get matters underway. Billiat in the centre circle. Stellenbosch defending the goal to the right-hand side. Wonderful turnout today. Full house. The tickets were all sold out by last night. And it is going to be, we suspect, a riveting cup tie, Stanton Fredericks.
Yeah, riveting indeed, Mark. The occasion is set, and opportunity for the big players to stand up. I think Kaizer Chiefs desperately in need of some silverware and an opportunity. 4 games and silverware on hand.
Nice touch from Dupree, his first one in the Huda. I'm not sure he meant that, but it'll be a confidence boost nevertheless for Lee Langenfeld to get an early touch of the ball. Here's Dino van Rooyen. He scored here in April when these two teams last met. And gliding through Stellenbosch, lots of confidence on the ball. They didn't really take, I don't think, much of a psychological knock with that defeat on Wednesday. They didn't really fancy that they'd come away with anything from Mamelodi Sundowns, and had an eye perhaps already on this tie. And Tetwa was absolutely stunning in that game on Wednesday in the midfield with his work ethic. Now the Huda looks to get Mendieta going behind Solomons, and the chance of a little bit of a mix-up. Kune with his characteristic distribution. Billiat under very quick threat. And now good to see Sifiso Klanti back in the lineup. Horrible Achilles tendon injury he suffered in training in November.
That's possibly the worst injury that can happen to a footballer. 9 months plus for recovery, but great to see him back on the field and sharing his experience, and much needed for Kaizer Chiefs.
He said it sounded like a gunshot when the Achilles went. It was in a training game at Naturena. His last match, in fact, in November was against Stellenbosch, that 1-0 loss at Soccer City. Mendieta doing well with Dupree. They'll have a nice little battle today, you would fancy. The Stellenbosch players against their former striker, former skipper as well, Zita Kuinika, in defence for Kaizer Chiefs today. Mendieta to take on Solomons.
That's going to be another interesting battle there. But Pacey Solomons, will he be forced to concentrate more on his defensive duties up against Mendieta? Will he be riveting down that right-hand side and joining up with Dupree, which is starting on the right of the front three for Kaizer Chiefs? Billiat in the centre, Dolly just in behind them, and Zichota on the left-hand side.
De Huda. Ashwin Andri starts his 4th match since his surprise inclusion in the lineup. This is Ngaga. Does like to turn it on a little bit. Might get the fans going for him as well. Now, what's Mr. Giovanni say there? Nothing. As Van Beek got caught by Kuinika. And that may be a little bit of a let-off for Kaizer Chiefs. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think at first glance, I think Van Beek did touch the ball just before Kuinika. It certainly looked like a free kick that would have been in a very dangerous position for Stellis.
Bassadin gets ahead of Dupree. They would not have played together because Bassadin only recently joined from Swallows. Dupree leaving Stellenbosch in June for Kaizer Chiefs. And Tetwa, there's not much space on this pitch. It's nice and crowded out there. Players are going to need to use their close-in ball skills.
I just noticed that Keegan Dolly just dropping a little bit deep. Not too sure why that is, but probably just to try and find some space. He'll be watched. Tetwa.
Solomons on this right-hand side. Here's Billiat. Cover from the Huda. Gets a little too strong for Bassadin, so there'll be a throw-in for Kaizer Chiefs. First real attacking opportunity now for the visiting side. And they tried to say the home side, of course, because it's a sea of black and yellow in the stands. Solomons cut out by Tetwa. Bassadin with the last touch. Corner and the first one of the game. Now, Phelps. Obviously given a chance to play in the cup competitions ahead of Sage Stevens, who has looked in good form already this season, picking up where he left off in the last campaign. Solomons to the near post, Mendieta, or Dolly rather, to the near post, and Mendieta clears it away.
Now those are two players in your picture that will certainly affect it. I think early on Kaizer Chiefs starting brightly as the home side. It's a very attacking starting lineup that they have on display here. No out-and-out defensive midfielder.
Billiat, nice challenge from Mendieta, takes it away from him. Basadin.
To Solomons on the right hand side to venture forward, and Clanty will just tuck inside and make that a three-man defense for Kai.
Sekota with a good run. Billiat fails to find him. Now Adams over on the far side. And Dooley, who was kept on the bench on Wednesday. Because of the 3 cautions he's managed to pick up in his first 4 games. Wearing the blue boots. Signed from Galaxy, of course. And Gaga comes from Barocca. He'll spread it out for him. Mendieta here on this left-hand side. Up comes Kuna quickly as well. And the distribution right on point. Here's Dolly. Even Dupree. Good run here from Van Rooyen. Last touch of Klanti, who, by the way, is the only Kaizer Chiefs player who's won an MTN8 with Wits. Ituman and Kuna, you would think, has got a trophy, but the last time they won it against, who was it now? Supersport United, I think it was Kuzwayo in goal and Raya Peterse as the backup on the bench. He didn't get a medal that day. Kuna's been in 2 losing MTN8 finals. Billiat and Dolly were in the losing Sundowns team when Wits beat them 3-0 when Klanti was on the opposite side. And it stands to reason that Stellenbosch, none of their players have had any previous top 8 success.
And there you have it. I'm sitting next to the encyclopedia of football in SA.
There's Dolly.
Or football, period.
We'll have to bring more sweets next time. Here's Solomons. Noble. Koenika was voted as player of the season by Stellenbosch at the end of last campaign. Very popular club member. They were sad to see him go. It was noticeable actually when he came on for his warm-up. Both he and Veroin, the first thing they did was go across and greet coach Steve Barker, which was a nice touch. Andries.
I can see Kaizer Chiefs just dropping off now, just allowing Stellies to move that ball from side to side before they join the second third. That's where they'll apply pressure.
Van Rooyen giving chase down that right-hand side, taking on Klanti. That's a good first touch from him. He's got support from Van Wyk close by. And he will force the first corner for the home side.
Intelligently done there from Van Rooyen. And not for the first time, you can see Stellenbosch trying to use that diagonal ball and try and pick out Van Rooyen on the right and on the left-hand side, Mendieta is the target. That's a corner each so far.
Kune to be tested for the first time, you would think. Basadin looks to have gone across to take it. Swings it in. That's a very good corner. High up in the air, off the head of Solomons, not cleared away, and now Kune to collect. What a corner that was.
Yeah, and what a brilliant defensive work there from Solomons at the near post. But it's all about that delivery.
So last season in the league, Stellenbosch beating Chiefs 1-0 at home and 1-0 away. It was the other way around. The season before that, the two games were drawn. And there's actually 5 matches now coming into this game that Stellenbosch have not lost to Kaizer Chiefs. That's unusual for any side in South African football. Solomons comes off Andres, and it's going to be a set piece now at the other end.
Well, there was some brilliant interplay there from Solomons and Dupree.
I suppose if you're Stellenbosch, not only looking for an early goal themselves, but if you're not getting it, you don't want Chiefs to score. You want to keep this or get this crowd to quieten down progressively as this game progresses. Van Wyk wasn't really playing the ball there, certainly more the man, but now nice little steal from him, Tetwa, and the ball in here for Mendieta. This is a great opportunity. Kune slips and Mendieta fluffs his lines. Goal kick it's going to be. That is a huge opportunity wasted by Stellenbosch.
Yeah, and that's the man you wanted to fall to. Brilliant work from the Kaizer Chiefs defense. Sefota just getting caught in possession. You can see immediately 3 against 2. I think this ball just never sat down for Mendieta. Unsure of what he wanted to do, but brilliant work there from Kunika. A great recovery, and take nothing away from Itumelenko coming out timeously. A bit of a miskick there from the on-form Mendieta.
Kune slipped as he was trying to come out. Mendieta perhaps on the wrong foot, and Kunika gets, as you say, a little pat on the back for intervention, but almost another error there. You wonder who's feeling the pressure here. The Chiefs side with, despite all the support, or the Stellenbosch side who might be a little intimidated by all the Chiefs fans.
And that's exactly what I was thinking there, Mark, is that the longer this result stays the same, the more edgy the fans get.
Sefota with an inviting ball. There was a little slip there too for Dupree. You were out on the pitch earlier today. It's not overtly slippery, is it?
No, not at all. It's not the smoothest pitch. It's not your Athlone Stadium, but it's good enough to produce some good football.
Sikle Ndule finds Mtetwa. Mtetwa ready with that steal there, showing what a valuable player he is for Stellenbosch in that holding midfielder role. Now Mendieta driving it in for Jaden Adams. First touch let him down. Solomons, Mendieta looking to steal it. Mendieta, and foul, says referee Chavani.
He's claiming it's a handball. Closing down the space there, and not too sure.
Might have a point, actually. It was more a fist, though, than the hand, than the upper arm, which Mendieta was showing. From that angle, maybe not. Strong header from Basadin, gets ahead of Dupree. Now Mendieta with Keegan Dolly having to track back. Stellenbosch throw in. Second error now from Mendieta.
Sometimes you just try too hard and a little bit overmotivated. I'm sure that adrenaline will eventually settle down.
Well, what a chance that was for Mendieta to put Stellenbosch in the lead. All the work done by Mtetwa. They've stolen a lot of ball away from Kaizer Chiefs, Stellenbosch, in this game already. Sizing up his options, De Goede to the 19-year-old Oshwin Andries. Midfielder by trade, makeshift centre-back with Lasse Sobic, the new German signing, out injured, with Vusi Sibia on the bench now, also having been injured.
And he certainly stepped up to the plate there. It's just amazing to see what Stellenbosch is doing in their development structures and producing talent after talent. And that seems to be the plan, Mark. Just keep in possession and look for that diagonal ball to pick out the likes of Mendieta on the right-hand side for Royan.
Lovely ball in here for Billiat. It was a good run from the Zimbabwean. He's been pulled back there by De Goede. That was perhaps unnecessary. The free kick given away.
I tell you what, the intelligence of that man in Billiat. When it's a bit of a heavy touch and lost possession, the minute he came back, he'll just put his body in between the defender and the man, and there you have it, free kick in a dangerous position.
Free kick opportunity here. We've already passed the 15-minute mark in this game. Dolly lifts it high. It's a dangerous ball. It's well dealt with by Andries, but still inside the Stellenbosch area. Sechota gets the cross in. Header from Mtetwa. Flick on. Here's the counter. Bounces a bit tough for Van Wyk. Here's Dino van Rooyen. Early ball in. Looking up front for Jaden Adams. Good defensive work by Keegan Dolly. He's playing a lot deeper than we're used to. Smaller pitch allows him to get up and down perhaps a bit quicker, but impressive how Dolly is working both ends of the stick, as it were.
Yeah, impressive indeed there from Dolly, but you'd rather want him further up the pitch where he can affect it positively, take nothing away, just showing a lot of leadership, a lot of hard work that would possibly just feed off the teammates.
Now de Preer, stolen away by Nduli. Dino van Rooyen and de Preer battling. They are, of course, cousins. And did de Preer leave one in there on his cousin?
Yeah, I think that's going to be part of the family chat there, Mark.
We're taking him off the WhatsApp group after this. That was Matlu who caught him, not de Preer.
It just offers so much to the Stelly side, does Van Rooyen.
Lovely ball here for Van Wyk. Out is Kuna. He looks to be relishing his return in Tumalin Kune.
Yeah, that was brilliant work there from Kune. When they do apply the high line, it's so important for the goalkeeper to play on the edge of his area. Exactly what Kune done there.
Played one game the whole of last season. Virtually none before that. 6 the season before that. He's still over 300 league and cup matches for Kaizer Chiefs. Challenge on Dolly from Nduli. Nicely done by Van Wyk. Stellenbosch pinching the ball again. Here's Van Rooyen. Back to De Goede. Now Mtetwa. Nduli. Bit of space now for Van Rooyen to deliver into the middle. Mendieta gets the shot in. Turns it just wide. Was there a decision against Stellenbosch before that shot went in? Was there perhaps a handball signal there?
Yeah, I think it was a handball there.
Yeah, there's the referee putting his whistle to his mouth almost straight away.
Yeah, Mendieta cutting a bit of a frustrated figure there, not sure why, but he done well to still propel a shot and possibly on target there, but handball nonetheless, and brilliant positioning from the referee there.
I think he's more angry with himself, really, that fluff chance a little bit earlier on when he really was set clear by that wonderful steal by Mtetwa. Kune straight down the middle. Dupria against Basadin. Stolen by Solomons. Sitebe. Ranty with the throw-in. Mtetwa. No foul. Here is Mtetwa looking for Mendieta again. Mendieta cuts inside a little bit too much. Once again, Dolly helping out in defence, and I think he's let that go over, so it should be a corner.
Yeah, once again, that man is lurking danger there. Mendieta cut inside. There was a number of bodies. Takik Dolly putting in the hard yards again.
Gaga will take it. The Hudas forward. Here it comes.
off a little bit. Initially thinking he'd go for the header, sat back, decided to go for a volley, and then just didn't get the knee over the ball there.
I think the youngster Andries got away with one there as well. Here's Mtetwa. Basadin, Mendieta down this left-hand channel, nice and busy. Against Ngobo, Kwinika with the clearance, Solomons. There's the press from Mgaga. Kwinika will clear again, only as far as Basadin. Chiefs finding it hard to hold on to the ball here. Foul against Matlo, or on Matlo, I should say. Chiefs finding it hard to hold on to the ball here. Foul. Against Matlo, or on Matlo, I should say. Chiefs finding it hard to hold on to the ball here. Foul against Matlo, or on Matlo, I should say. Chiefs hosting Amazulu in the league. That's the next match at Soccer City for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, not been able to control the game in midfield as Matlo and Sitebe. It's really been played down the flanks there, and Stellenbosch dictating most of the play, trying to get that man in picture on the ball, and on the opposite flank trying to pick out the likes of Van Wyk and Van Rooyen.
Mtetwa. Past the half-hour mark now here at DANIE CRAVEN Stadium.
Well, that has to be said, a good start there for Ichimulenkune. A few confidence-building saves there.
Tinkler was talking earlier in the week about how impressed he was with Chiefs' close-in passing skills, and that he perceived as the main danger when they played them on Tuesday. Today it's just a long ball being hoofed forward out of defence, perhaps looking for the speed of Billiat and Dupré to get onto the end of it.
Yeah, I think the size of the pitch has a lot to do with that, but they certainly have a wealth of technical ability. If you look at who they have in their ranks in Billiat, Dolly, with that man Sitebe.
And he's claiming he did nothing wrong here. He's continues to be a picture of frustration out there. Sechota, Dolly. Back again, now Billiat. This is better from Kaizer Chiefs in terms of entertainment value.
And that's exactly what you mentioned about Kaizer Chiefs. Eric Tinkler mentioning that close pass, proximity and triangles that they create.
Solomons. Blocked. Good work by Mgaga. Tetra sitting just in front of that back four and marshalling everything for Stellenbosch. He's got his two lieutenants on either side, Nduli and Mgaga.
and that makes up that midfield triangle of Stellenbosch. I mentioned the 4-3-3, and that's the three in the middle of the park.
All players, by the way, who are relatively new. Tetra in January, and the other two recently arrived in pre-season. Know what they were looking for, Stellenbosch. Too long. Now Sitebe. Ashley Dupria gets caught by Bassadin, but he has another chance to set something up here on the outside of the foot to Solomons. Nice little pass. And looking for Billiat in the middle. Andries away. Tetwa. Bassadin. Still not effectively cleared. Now with Billiat. Sitebe. Dolly. Is he going to have a crack with that left foot? Billiat looking to get a little touch onto it. Wide a goal.
And it's a thumbs up from Dolly. A decent effort there from the 29-year-old midfielder, finding some space just in behind there. Stellenbosch a little bit slow on the close down there in Dooley. And I don't suggest you give that man too much room on the ball, because he does pack a punch when he does catch it.
A little too strong from Jaden Adams to Dino van Rooyen. Two Idas Valley products, local boys who come through the ranks at Stellenbosch. Michael. Slanty. Nice touch from Michael, just looking for Billiat, but well read by Oswin Andries. Fiso Clanty. Well, Chiefs felt that was their ball, so did their supporters close by, but refereeing team says it's Stellenbosch.
Have a closer look here. Clanty just protecting the ball, and looked like it came off Sechota.
Did Van Rooyen perhaps get a touch in there. Advertising boards look like they've hit a little bit of a roadblock.
They run their race.
Ball inside, looking for Mendieta. Someone's found the plug there and switched it off, thankfully. That's going to go against Kaizer Chiefs. Adds to the frustration here. This first half has flown by.
So that's never going to be a big challenge aerially for the Huda. And I could never understand when you're standing still and the defender jumps over you, the foul gets given against you. It's just a rule that just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because I'm the shorter one.
Now Tekla rather is dispossessed. Billiat and Dupria, and they're looking for Dolly over on the far side, and it's Nduli who comes to the rescue for the home side. Bit of space for Mendieta out on the left bottom of your screen, but no one spots him. Now Dupria. Bassadin takes it away. Chiefs have had no chance to really put any decent passing moves together. Van Rooyen needs the early ball inside. Cut out by Quinica. He was looking there for Adams. Pressure on Kune, he does well. Up goes the Khuda. Now Van Wyk. Ngaga. Mendieta. Possession over the last 5 minutes, you can see predominantly with the home side. Will they get some reward for it before the half-time whistle is blown?
And the Kaizer Chiefs started brightly, and we just seemed to step back and allowed Stellis to come to them, and Stellis taking full advantage of this, taking their time from side to side, and as they look to exploit that wings.
When this club was first formed, they had a couple of seasons when they met Kaizer Chiefs in the Nedbank Cup when they were still.
Basadine currently over on the right hand side, and he's going to be, his position at left back needs to be covered. Great defending there from Andres.
Dolly, out comes Langerveld, the ball's bobbing in there. There were a couple of appeals for handball from Kaizer Chiefs. That might be worth looking at again. Referee Chivani didn't see anything. Kune for Sekota, who had the last touch. It came off Basadine, who's gone across onto the right-hand side now. Here is Keegan Dolly to Maklo. Ngaga showing his skills here. Running himself into a bit of trouble though, and he gets the free kick.
Yeah, but
we are edging closer, some 2 minutes to half-time, plus whatever stoppage time might be added on, and wouldn't seem to be any need for it. We had a fast-paced game.
Ngaga, he's been very influential for Stellis in the middle of the park there, defensively and attacking stanza.
Interesting, the fullbacks were switched for a while. Van Rooyen when came to the left, now he's gone back to the right. Here he is in possession.
Well, that was just to keep the balance, because I think Basadine went over to take the corner.
A minute and a half to the break.
We'll see Kaizer Chiefs with a very attacking lineup, but I think the application thereof is rather defensive, just dropping deep and allowing Stellis to have all that possession.
Adams. Now it looks as if we might be going to the break here without any goals. Stellenbosch striking the upright. And of course, Mendieta missing out on a good opportunity. Lee Langen for goalless draw against Supersport United for Stellenbosch. That was a goalless draw, offside against Mendieta. Well, referee says no time added on. That's the end of the first half. 45 minutes on the dot. And Kaizer Chiefs and Stellenbosch will go into the break. Still level pegging here in the MTN 8. Stellenbosch dominating the possession, moving the ball around nicely, but not creating too many clear-cut chances. Kaizer Chiefs just looking a little unsettled, perhaps needing more time to get themselves a little rhythm. Size of the pitch might be a bit of a problem for them too, but not looking particularly comfortable in the first half, and might well have trailed.
sold-out crowd here deserves goals. You guys have predicted before the time that we would see them. They've got 45 more minutes, else we are heading to extra time. We've got to have a winner today. We're still waiting for this one to ignite. We're expecting fireworks in the second 45.
It's Wafa Wafa time. Dial star 144 star 8 hash to opt in. Buy a bundle or recharge with 10 Rand or more and stand to win your share of 8 million Rand in prizes.
Proper Irish whiskey. Proper 12. It's in the name. Twelve is the district I come from. It's a small suburb in Dublin, Ireland called Crumlin. It's a place dear to my heart. I want to give this to the world as a gift from myself and from Ireland.
If you come to Johannesburg, you are coming to the city of gold.
Did you find the pot of gold?
When I realized that I'd be saving 1,100 Rand,
you are
I knew I found the pot of gold with Outsurance.
Being a single mom, is Outsurance the perfect partner?
Outsurance is the perfect partner for me because loyalty has been paid back to me in tenfold. Money, switch over to Outsurance.
SMS SAVE to 31570 or call 08600 60,000 to switch and save today.
Light up the game. Light up your passion. The 2022 cricket season. Light it up on SuperSport.
We're made of stars. And when a champion is needed, we shine. The UEFA Champions League. Every glittering moment. Royal Flush Gin, 5 times distilled, French luxury. Royal Flush Gin, 5 times distilled, French luxury.
8, Mamelodi Sundowns, Cape Town City, Royal AM, Stellenbosch, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Amazulu, SuperSport United. The MTN 8, fast, dynamic, exhilarating. Wafa Wafa. The winner take all. The MTN 8. Welcome back, everyone. Wonderful scenes here at the DANIE CRAVEN Stadium. We're in the winelands. We're in the wonderful town of Stellenbosch, and it's a packed house. 15,000 tickets available for today's encounter. All of them sold. Stellenbosch supporters, there are a few in the house here, but they are vastly outnumbered by those who are backing Kaizer Chiefs. A second trip this week to the Cape for Chiefs, where they were not impressive at all on Tuesday night, going down to Cape Town City. Hoping for a change of fortunes here this afternoon. So it's Stellenbosch to get matters underway here at the start of the second half. There are no changes at half-time. We resume with the same 11 that finished the first half. We return of Ntubeleng Kune and Sifiso Klanti to the Chiefs team. Ashley Dupree back from injury as well. Lee Langenfeld getting a chance in goal. Chiefs with 4 changes. Stellenbosch with 2 coming into this game. Both well, Chiefs played 24 hours earlier. Now Dupree out wide to Sechota. Early charge here for Keegan Dolly.
Dealt with by Andries and Van Rooyen. Up to Van Wyk. Clearance from Mtetwa. Adams looking to steal it. De Priya has it. Still De Priya looking to get the shot in. It was blocked by Mtetwa. Dolly. Sifiso Kranti. Ball into Dolly. That'll be a little bit of work for Lee Langeveld. Vastly underemployed in the first half.
Yeah, hardly a save to make there from Langeveld, and a brighter start from Kaizer Chiefs. You could see that something was said at the halftime break from coaches.
Well, and Dooley's done well here to find Mendieta. Now he's got options left and right. Ball inside, looking for Adams. Loose one for Dooley. He looks for Mendieta, who's offside. He scuffs it again. Not having a fluid game here today, Mendieta.
Yeah, persistence there from Nduli, just spotting that it does not look like it's offside. Very, very close call there.
Now, there have been one or two issues of contention in this game so far, refereeing wise.
And already we can see Kaizer Chiefs just deployed further up the pitch. Keegan Dolly will look to be a bit more closer to Kama Billiard. He's been an isolated figure.
Now stolen away here. This is an excellent opportunity for Adams. Square to Ndule, and Stellenbosch have the goal. Kaizer Chiefs punished for a mistake. Sihle Ndule scores. Unselfish from Jaden Adams. Stellenbosch have the lead. Shades of that game against Mamelodi Sundowns when the defence got caught napping.
Shades of grey indeed. A lapse of concentration and a smile on the face of Stevie Barker, and celebrations all round for Stellenbosch. And Julie had a superb first half alongside Mgaga. And this is the moment. Lost up possession. Brilliant work there from Jaden Adams. Took his time, committed the defender before he made the pass. A brilliant pass, and it looked like Norba was going to save his blushes just before Nduli put it past, but it's Jaden Adams with the hard work, dispossessed the defender. Perfect pass and a perfect finish from Nduli.
Well, hasn't that set the cat amongst the pigeons here at DANIE CRAVEN Stadium? Sihle Ndule with the goal. How right Steve Barker was not to play him on Wednesday in that game against Mamelodi Sundowns to ensure that he was available today. Sitting on 3 yellow cards. If he'd played against Sundowns and he'd been booked, he would have been suspended for today. He deserves a goal. He's had an excellent start to his new career at Stellenbosch, and I'm sure TS Galaxy are wondering why they let him go.
Mark, and that's the difference between attackers and defenders. One mistake from a defender, you can get punished. And that is why they need to be so more concentrated and efficient.
The Chiefs will need to score their first away goal of the season if they are to get back in this game. Referee playing advantage after Solomons was brought down. This is Sechota, and there's just more commitment, you feel, on the part of the home side.
Yeah, 100%. If it was a boxing match, I think on points Stellenbosch will be clearly in the lead. The action is needed from Kaizer Chiefs. This is a chance for more experienced players to step up, the likes of Dolly, the likes of Sitebe, Tlanti as well.
Billiat. They've moved the taller players forward for the set piece. It goes to the near post. Mendieta will get a big hoof forward. Just the business for Stellenbosch. Van Rooyen. Kunika. Clanty. Now Sitebe. We need to see a reaction here from Kaizer Chiefs. Or are they going to face yet another barren season?
And this is a competition where chances of silverware is the quickest route, 4 games, so double header in the semis. So it'll be the quarterfinals, 2 semis, and you in with a chance of winning silverware.
Well, it's where Orlando Pirates ended their drought a couple of seasons ago. The Chiefs have it all to do now. Sekota gets it across. Mendieta, or excuse me, Tekla was there.
See Jaden Adams once again just smelling blood, especially when the ball is played to a defender, feeling he could dispossess.
Well, 2 successive defeats in the Cape is not going to sit well with the crowd here. Langeveld has done well to keep that from going for a corner. Came off the head of Bassadin. Long way to go before we can declare Stellenbosch the winners of this game, but they have the advantage and they're looking for number 2 here. Mendieta with a challenge there from Solomons. What's the referee decided? Corner or a free kick? I'm not sure from his signal. I think a corner.
Yeah, looks like he's in a bit of agony there. Solomon's following through on the tackle there. I think he got the ball and then the man, which in football terms is the way to go. Play the ball, not the man.
Former Stellenbosch player as well, of course, Dylan Solomons. A couple of first league top flight matches for them. He's shown vast improvement when he moved to Swallows FC and signed by Kaizer Chiefs at the beginning of this campaign. Set piece chance here. Header away by Michael. Bassadin back out wide again. Nduli, Ngaga. They are beginning to enjoy themselves now, these Stellenbosch players, full of confidence. Mendieta and Sitebe, and that'll go against the Argentine. He is. Yeah, he's on a different planet, this man.
That's commitment for you.
Now, referee is furiously signaling the medical team on here. There's a problem. And is it a knock in the neck sometimes you feel? It looks like he's having a bit of difficulty breathing.
Is that George McClell?
Oh, there he looks to be okay. I think he might have got a knock in the neck, actually. And the referee was blowing furiously to get the attention of everybody concerned. Well, that seems pretty innocuous, just a knock on the shoulder.
Yeah, possibly the lower arm that hit the ribs, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Dr. Frederick's in the house. Here's Ashley Dupree. Has he got an answer here? De Goede gets the better of him. Still battling away. Well, that's a yellow card against De Goede.
That counter press working nicely there for Kaizer Chiefs.
Well, he had a chance to clear it a little bit earlier, De Goede, but just went in a little bit too hard, in the referee's opinion. He could have got rid of it there. Then he runs into trouble, and here, the referee didn't like that.
Yeah, that was a bit of a follow-through there, catching Dupree on the way. He's the leader of the pack this afternoon, De Goede.
First caution of the game. The referee kept his cards in his pocket the entire match on Wednesday for Sundowns against Stellenbosch. So the dangerous Billiat and the dangerous Dolly. Left foot from Dolly. Matlu. Too hard for Santi in the middle there. Sekota, here comes a high ball. De Goede with a good, strong clearing header, and Mendieta and Van Wyk combined to try and get it forward here on the counter. Lovely skill there from Van Wyk. That's got to be the pass of the year. They just look like they wanted more. Adams, it gets away from him.
Yeah, that was some brilliant improvisation there from Van Wyk.
Now Billiat at the other end with Sekota. De Goede, the defender. Another good challenge from the skipper.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there from the captain. Wasn't going to be sold there from Sekota. Always know he's going to go onto the stronger foot on the left-hand side, and De Goede prepared for it. And Sekota looks like he's up for the fight here this afternoon.
Billiat. Mendieta at the near post. Deliveries on the set piece has also been a little bit disappointing in this game. I think particularly from a Chiefs perspective, here is Kune. Two-player. Truman and Kune is chasing everybody off. This is going to cost Stellenbosch quite a bit of money in fines for poor security. There's also a gentleman in the Sundowns shirt celebrating. I wonder if they'll give them a fine too. Dynamic of the game changes now. That really was a horrible error.
Can we see the goal again, guys? And then after the goal, we can just see Andres speaking to the goalkeeper.
So this is how Kaizer Chiefs equalised. Lee Langeveld to Osman Andries. Ashley Dupre says thank you very much.
And Mark, we can just see that Andries not happy with Langeveld because he wasn't expecting the ball.
I think they're both culpable.
Yeah. Having said that, you still have to deal with the lines there.
This was how Stellenbosch scored earlier in the half. Adam stealing it from Ngobo and Ndune finishing. Only just. Ngobo almost came back to rescue the situation.
Defensive blunders, the order of the day, yeah. And he's a relief man. Ngobo.
It's given the coach a chance to talk to the team. Both coaches with the opportunity. Stellenbosch have allowed Kaizer Chiefs right back into it now. Interesting that Chiefs players are talking amongst themselves, whereas Stellenbosch players are talking to the coach. That might also be something that one could read into the state of affairs at the club at the moment. This is the battle between Mendieta and Dylan Solomons. Mendieta on the left of the attack for the home side. Solomons playing right back.
Yeah, you can see that battle, and that's the reason for Solomons not being as effective going forward, because he needed to worry just behind him, in behind, because Mendieta intelligently cheating as well, and it just hampers him from going forward. Mendieta, a bit of a frustrated figure, but that being said, always a danger for Stellenbosch.
Steve Barker using the opportunity to mingle amongst the players and have a chat with them. The Chiefs players are a little further on the pitch, away from their coaching staff. There's the difference here.
I think the senior players there just huddling there, the likes of Kune, Kwanika, and Keegan Dolly will just have a word and say, guys, we are given a lifeline, let's pounce on it.
Well, supporters managing to get through the big fence at the back. Now they seem to have cleared it up a little bit, but security, not sure whether the fence is broken there or what has happened, but the excitement of Chiefs scoring, setting off a crowd invasion. And I think we'll be able to get matters underway momentarily. Well, the clock's been running the entire time, but it is still, let's say, a 5-minute stoppage now. Maybe a little shorter than that, 4 minutes, I would guess. Well, the clock's been running the entire time, but it is still, let's say, a 5-minute stoppage now. Maybe a little shorter than that, 4 minutes, I would guess, and remember that's going to be added on at the end of the 90.
Mark, and that's something that couldn't have come at a worse time for Kaizer Chiefs, because after you get the equalizer, you want to work on that momentum and continue to apply pressure on Stellenbosch, so that would have assisted Stellenbosch somewhat.
The home side in the driving seat until they gave away a rather silly goal, and now the defensive errors begin to mount. This time Inglobo and Kune not on the same wavelength. Oh, free corner for Stellenbosch. Exactly. Here we go with the corner. Mendieta to take it. Played back in by Mgaga. There's not much calling in that Kaizer Chiefs. That's Van Rooyen. Looks up, drives it towards Adams. He's got to look into the sun as well, which should make it a little bit difficult for him.
Well, I think just acknowledging that it was the sun that just blinded him momentarily.
Clancy chases on here for Sakota, but Dino Van Rooyen is quick. Dolly unable to control that ball.
There's a familiar battle.
Mendieta having an exchange with the linesman in Argentinian Spanish. I'm not sure Mr. Jara Moquena, originally from the Eastern Free State, now living in Orlando East, knows any Argentinian Spanish.
Argentinian Spanish.
That's a corner. Van Beek stopping Dupria.
Mark, through my experiences, I found that referees understand Spanish in inverted commas in all languages.
Yes, that is true. Spanish with a small s. Here's the curling ball towards the near post. Once more, Mendieta is the man who clears it away.
effect on both sides to that, isn't there?
It is, because Stellenbosch are feeling that there was a penalty that was supposed to be given, but the ball hit Dolly on his stomach. The ball hit Dolly on his stomach, so there's no penalty there. We have looked at all the angles. There is no penalty. The ball hits Dolly on the stomach. Now it's for Stellenbosch to then pick up the players and say, there was no penalty, boys. Let's go and try again. On the other side of Kaizer Chiefs, Atazwani will say to the players, let's be careful. We know the legs are tired. We know the mind is tired. Let's focus. And key would be senior players like Kwinika, senior players like Itumeleng Khune.
All right, I think we have that here just to confirm to people what you were seeing. From this angle, I thought handball.
Yes, from this angle, you might think it's a handball. But look at this angle. We'll play slowly, slowly. It hit the stomach of Dolly. There is no penalty at there.
I think what we're seeing at first is what the referee's seeing. He's just seeing from behind Dolly.
Yes.
The arm is outstretched, and it's not something. It's deflected, it's changed direction. But then he has a discussion with, I think, the assistant referee, the other official.
Can you lip read what Dolly's saying?
And where he's pointing.
Yes. He's saying, no, it hit my stomach. This is another man that had a fantastic game. First game of the season, his experience was key. He went up and down that left-hand side. There's the referees again communicating. Good teamwork, guys. That's what Jelly Chabani is saying.
What I noticed when all the Stellenbosch players were surrounding referee Chabani, that Steve Barker went to them and fetched them away there. Because if they get caught up on that, if they go into this period of extra time now, still with that mentality of we should...
Or with Barker in that instance, man management, forget about the penalty shout is gone. Let's go back and focus on the extra time.
There are a lot of tired legs out there. Segoto's just trying to stretch the last little bit that he can. I think it's his calves that we can see him having a drink there as well. We saw the Kaizer Chiefs players as well, same as Stellenbosch. Tired legs out there.
It's up to the senior players. You saw Mato speaking to the back four. You saw Itumeleng Khune speaking to the young men. The young man like Ngobo has just been brought on. He needs to add that energy into that midfield of Kaizer Chiefs.
What about Cole Alexander as well?
They started without a 6. They started without a defensive midfielder. Now when they bring in Cole Alexander into that midfield, his key role will be protect that back four, break play and start play. That is the role of Cole Alexander in this extra time.
For Stellenbosch as well, the home side, 2 defensive mistakes. They got the first goal, then Chiefs equalized. What are they going through right now?
One thing that both defense needs to watch out for is they need to respect the zone that they are playing in. Because 2 goals comes from mistakes from defense, so they need to correct that.
Well, there is Cole Alexander, who we talked about. He is about to enter the fray. We are set up for extra time. Under the lights have come on already. We're still seeing the sun going down. The fans are still in full voice. We've had late drama here, but it ended 1-1, and we're going into extra time for a place in the semi-finals. Up to the commentary.
Thanks, Julia. It's the start of the first half of extra time, which will be kicked off by Stellenbosch. Cole Alexander comes on for Ashley Dupree. So Chiefs have made 2 changes, Stellenbosch just 1. Plenty of options still off the bench, and I'm sure we'll see a flurry of changes through the 30 minutes of extra time as the players continue to tire here and fatigue. Tough pitch, big match, high tempo, lots of drama, and all of that just drains the resources. We've enjoyed it so far, and I'm sure there's going to be a bit more to come. Langeveld to clear. Gomez Zulu now leading the line for Stellenbosch. He got knocked from behind by Ngobo. No, he's offside. Free kick against him.
Yes, Mark, has been very entertaining. And I think the introduction of Cole Alexander, let's see how that's going to change things. Ngobo possibly just filling in at the top. The right-hand side of the front three for Kaizer Chiefs, and Cole Alexander will just give some fresh legs to assist Tebe.
Kwinika. Remember this competition with its unusual prize money allocation, 8 million for the winner, and everybody else gets 800,000. Irrespective of where you finish, you can get all the way to the final. You make the same as if you were knocked out in the quarters, but the incentive to win it is so much stronger. $8 million. Lots of club chairman could do with that to balance the books and look to pay salaries and buy players. No ball onto his left foot and over the top.
Just a little bit rushed there. Oncoming defenders there. Noble unable to get it on target. They'll need him to use his fresh legs and continue with that attacking threat to assist to Billiat.
Mtetwa. Ngaga. Here now is Mendieta. Lovely ball again. Ngomezulu using his strength. Mendieta looks at his options. He's tired, I think, Mendieta. Nduli now needs the early ball. Looking for Nduli again. Nduli and the chance. Oh, that was Ngomezulu in front of goal. They brought on a striker to try and finish it here, and what an opportunity that was.
A little bit fortuitous for Nduli, choosing not to have a shot at Ngomezulu. Shooting blanks.
Hasn't scored since Galaxy beat Chipper just before Christmas. Very good opportunity there for Stellenbosch to restore their lead. That's a good ball again, looking for Likuta. He does well to try and get it back into the path of Ngomezulu. Now Likuta.
I think there's a stage of the game where you want to minimize your mistakes and just keep it simple. We'll see that the tempo will certainly drop a notch.
Quinika's under pressure here from Ngomezulu, does well. Now the pressure on Kune forces the error, so Basadin to continue. Ngaga. Good ball out wide to Van Rooyen. Nduli continues to dominate play here. This is a chance to get it back inside. There's a call for a potential handball there. Mr. Chivani is not going to get involved in any controversy now, you would think.
Yeah, in the spotlight.
Well, he certainly kept his hands away from any danger. Sifiso Klanti showing his experience.
The only negative about that is that when you're defending and your hands are behind, you're not balanced, but it seems to be
Derby, 6 p.m. tonight. Sundowns, the holders. Supersport United have done well in the MTN8 over the years. Still Stellenbosch dominating possession, still looking for the holes to penetrate. But understandably, much of the tempo has gone out now with fatigue setting in. Mistake by Nduli there, and this might be a chance. It was a great pass from Donny, looking for Ngobo.
And a brilliant interception from Andres.
And Stellenbosch still doing some decent chasing. Foul against Ngobo.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one.
No. Agree with you on that. Basadin looking for Mendieta. Still continuing his little battle with Solomons here. Well, that's kept in play by Karma Billiard, so cover defense was needed. The Khuda coming across. Chiefs coming into this game having lost 5 of their last 6 away matches. That's since they were beaten here on April the 23rd last season by Stellenbosch. And Stellenbosch unbeaten at home in their last 8 matches. The last loss was also in the Cup, in the Nedbank Cup, to Morocco in February. Last loss here. He has a chance for Lekuta. Nduli, and you wonder why the Congolese didn't perhaps have a go there himself.
Yeah, Lekuta pass in the back. You're in the box, you need to have a pop. The tempo has certainly dropped a bit.
Well, a lot of the key impact players have gone now. Of course, Dupree for Kaizer Chiefs. Adams taken off for Stellenbosch.
Van Rijk as well.
Yeah. Foul by De Goede. Just a little over-eager there. Remember, still treading on thin ice given the earlier yellow card. Mr. Chivani still somewhat benevolent. That's a bad challenge. Keegan Noddy to take it. High ball in here. Oh, good save, Lagerfeld. Denying Cole Alexander.
What a save there from Lagerfeld. Cole Alexander, almost a super sub. What an attempt there.
Well, Kaizer Chiefs perhaps with the better chances in the latter stages of this game. There was an opportunity near the end of the 90 to snatch it away from Stellenbosch, and an opportunity here too for Cole Alexander. Timed his run perfectly. Excellent, excellent save from Lee Langerveld.
Yeah, what a brilliant dink there, just into the penalty area. Cole done extremely well to get to that ball, and equally good save from Langerveld.
Fouled by Nduli on Ngobo. Yellow card for him.
I think it's his partner, Mgaga. Took one for the team there. Ngobo just getting in front of him, and see they're tagging him from behind. They were outnumbered, so that's when you take one for the team.
Once again, Dolly to deliver with that left foot of his. Looking for Alexander again. This is another header into the danger zone, on that occasion wide of the goal.
Yeah, he's not the tallest of players, but managing to get at the end of all the crosses. Really injects a lot of energy into that midfield, does Cole Alexander. A real workaholic. And just trying to get it back in the danger area.
Ndukhuda. Nduli. Gomezulu beaten in the air by Konika. He's had his measure since he came on. Likuta. Well, that's given away. We'll have it back again. Now, let's see if Dino van Rooyen can set something up here for Stellenbosch. He's going to find Mendieta again on the left. Basadin wants the early ball.
Yeah, I think he's fatigued now. Running out of ideas there. And the coach pondering what could be. But I think all sides will be now on the penalty kicks. The East till the second half.
Cleared by Quinica to Sejota. Well, Nduli with giving away the kick there. I think he just caught Sejota. He's protesting his innocence, having just picked up the yellow card. Referee Chivani saying, well, what must I do if you're going to kick your opponent? Don't really give me much option. Another high one for Langeveld to deal with. He's dropped it, but he should get the foul there. Clanty clattering into him. He must be a physical monster, this Sifiso Clanty. He's now over 100 minutes of football. He's close to 2 hours, having not played since November. Still pushing forward. It's remarkable.
Yeah, can you believe it? Because you'd think that he'd stay back and not have to jog all the way back from the field, but
they've got Happy Mashiani in that position. I would have thought that Clanty would have played maybe an hour or so, and then Mashiani would have come on. Reeve Frosler is out with injury. Long one forward here from Ndukhuda. Nduli. Ngomezulu. Andries.
That midfield trio of Stellenbosch has been excellent today. Gaga, Tetra, as well as Nduli.
Well, the physical exertion now is remarkable from both of these sides. And look at the running still from someone like Basadin. Here's the cross towards the back post, and a little bit overcooked. But the fact he's still able to get up and down. I was with Cape Town City first. Sat on the bench a few times. Never got a chance to play in the first team. Went to Swallows last season. Really impressive. And back in the Cape now with Stellenbosch. Look at the cars there. Parked. Imagine having your car stuck in there and having to get home. I think I qualify under that. They'll be here for a while, my friend. So, extra time, half time, Stellenbosch and Chiefs, 1-1 here at the DANIE CRAVEN Stadium. So, Stanton, some thoughts for you on the first half of extra time. Besides the header from Alexander, not much to write home about.
Yeah, Mark, you can see the physical exertion in both teams. They're content with just playing it around there, but looking for a set piece or two where they could take advantage. Langeveld was called into action there with that opportunity from Cole Alexander. And this is the stage of the game where you don't want to make mistakes. Limit your mistakes. Let's see it through and see what we can do in the lottery, which is called penalties.
Mashiani, by the way, looks as if he might be coming on soon for Kaizer Chiefs, and also Mahlatsi, the player that they bought from Swallows. Cole Alexander takes over. Chiefs attacking the goal to the left now. Solomon's got the last touch. Mendieta looking for some running here from Ngome Zulu. It's 3 against 2. Lekuta wants it in the middle. Runs straight into Ngobo. Also slipped in the process there. Oh, there are the errors. I think you've got to have some empathy with him there. The pitch did him a little bit.
And that's why I say this stage of the game, just keep it simple.
Well, it was Amazulu who scored in the closing stages in the second half of extra time to win yesterday at the Athlone Stadium. Challenge from Alexander.
Yeah, that's what you get when you start dancing.
Two balls on the field at the moment. And that is going to be Kaizer Chiefs' ball. Chiefs with a double change in the offing. Billiard's going off, 32 years old now, and again another game without much of an impact from Kaizer Chiefs' star player. Kamohelo Mahlatsi, who was a junior at Supersport United, played for Amatax, and then made a good impression last season with Swallows. And Happy Mashiani on for Sifiso Klanti, who got through 97 minutes of football on his return, plus whatever optional time was added on as well. Amazing. There's a lot of dreads out there on the park now. Here's Sekota. Mahlatsi. Easily dispossessed, and Nduli emphasizing his dominance. Here's Dolly. Oh, really tired now. Ngaga. Mtetwa. Oh, what is Kunika doing now? Kune clears. Mahlatsi, is this a chance now for Kaizer Chiefs to wrap it up? Ball into the middle. Clearance from Andries and from the Khuda. Mahlatsi's looking to just add some energy here.
He's coming on the left-hand side of the front three, and that sees for Sekota playing through the middle.
Now Basadin to Ngome Zulu. Early ball would do here. He's going to go for goal and puts it over the top.
I'm not too sure that was a cross or a attempt on goal from the substitute Ngome Zulu. So it's 2 more minutes, and then you can come off.
I think he was talking to Nduli there, who's been outstanding. Sitebe battling with cramp now. He was hurt on Tuesday in the Cape Town City game. There was some doubt that he might make the lineup. Another busy game for Junior Mendieta, the Argentine, who joined Stellenbosch around about 18 months ago now.
Has been very busy all afternoon, but not as effective as he'd like to be. There's a nice battle between him and Solomons.
Coach Steve Barker says he's never met a player more obsessed with football than Junior Mendieta. So Sitebe still receiving treatment. Kaizer Chiefs
has been very busy all afternoon, but not as effective as he'd like to be. There's a nice battle between him and Solomons.
Coach Steve Barker says he's never met a player more obsessed with football than Junior Mendieta. So Sitebe still receiving treatment. Kaizer Chiefs
Yes! 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 Kude! Now this is Mzansi's #1, guys.
Yeah, they're never going to take